sunshine on my mind. My body gets to moving, and I've got a little time. 20 extra minutes, but 5 is all I need. We could do the quick and dirty.
So we're back with part 2 of our special on relationships and love. We are here again with Rashawn Faria from the Morning Report.
Hey.
We're also here with Malcolm Harris from Conversations with Malcolm and Mr.
The legendary Jamal Maurice Bouvier.
On the Morning with Show, and I'm Richie Scott. So last time we talked to you a little bit about relationships. We covered topics like social media, you know, how long we've been in relationships in terms of long-term relationships. We talked about a whole lot of things. So if you didn't catch part 1, go back and catch it, because part 2 is about to get even juicier. So I want to go ahead and start this discussion off, right? A topic that seems to keep coming up, regardless of whether or not I want to talk about it or not, is age differences in dating. What do we think about it? That's the only question I have.
I mean, why don't you want to talk about it? It's okay to be a cougar.
Listen, I would never categorize myself as a cougar. We can say panther, we can say lion, we can say all of that.
You can say what you want.
Right. You know, I mean, but okay, so here's the thing, you know, I don't like, I'm a private person, as I told you guys before. I don't like to put a lot of my business out there. I'm definitely open to the idea of dating younger.
Right.
Or older, or whatever you whatever the case may be. I'm used to dating probably a little bit older,
right.
But, you know, now it's not the case. So, you know, that's a discussion because we have different age groups here.
Right.
Yeah. Right?
Correct.
Yes. So, thoughts, what are your thoughts? Would you do it?
Yes.
Would you go younger? Would you go younger?
Okay, yes, I would go younger. I didn't think I could go younger, honestly, in my head. I had another conversation with friends and we were saying, when did the tables turn? Because I used to just, it was easy. I would get the age, I would be about 7, 8, 9, 10 years older than me, perfect. Didn't have a lot of drama, no chaos. No, stay on that one. Now it's like the young ones, and when I say young, I'm not talking 18. Please don't talk 18 on that. No R. Kelly scenario going on here. But you know, the young 20, the mid 20 range, and I had to sit there and say, you know what? This is all right. I can do this. Yeah. So it was more of an epiphany of this is the reality of where I am right now, and what they see is what I saw when I was in next age group. Right. But you have to understand that people are younger people are growing up much faster because they're exposed to a lot more things than we were. And for me, I mean, they're coming with good game. They're coming with, yo, I want to take you out. I want to get to know you. I'm like,
I have to say,
okay, game.
You are correct about that.
Yes.
Like I'm saying, if you impress me like that, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. That's just me.
Yeah, I've had a situation where I was thoroughly impressed to the point. Thoroughly. The game was so right. I hadn't even did this when I was in my 20s. Right. So I was just like, they do that now? That's what they do? And it was just, I was blown away.
Listen, Malcolm, do they do that now?
Do they do?
Malcolm's a little bit.
You're in the daycare.
I will be honest, I do tend to date guys who are older. It's not a rule of thumb, but it has always happened that way, and I'll tell you why. I'm like you. I was, you know, my parents are supportive of me. I came out when I was probably 14 or 15. I grew up in a metropolitan area, so it was okay to be gay, period. And for me, that accelerated my maturity. And then I started working, and professionally, a lot of things accelerated, you know, and that was a good thing. And what I found was when I tried to date guys who were my same age, there was a maturity gap. In some ways, I dealt with. I interpreted one guy in particular feeling very threatened by the gap in our professional accomplishments. And so for me, I said, you know, is it about age or is it about common experiences? And if I look at common experiences, I'm more aligned with people who tend to be older than me.
I need a drink after that one.
What are your thoughts, Mr.
Well, you know, I'm on the market. I'm single. I've always had the idea in my head that I would be with someone older. That's just the way
that's just the way I started dating, and that's just what I saw. But now I'm having to accept the fact that I can't get caught up on age. You know, so because everybody that is is hitting me up, 9 times out of 10, they're like 24 to 30.
I ain't even getting 30.
So I have to accept that, and I have to just roll with it and not be so limited based on that. I mean, I don't know. I feel like you can be mature at a certain age, but you also need to understand that your maturity sometimes is limited to the people that you are around.
Yes,
so when you say, oh, I'm 23, but I'm mature. Okay, but you're mature based on the people that you are around. When you enter my circle, my friends may look at you like, who is this little child that's, you know, into this conversation? So it's just a lot of things you have to weigh when you date someone younger. But I'm open.
Maturity and age don't often have anything to do with each other. I've dated someone, and I can tell you that this person, he was a good amount of space older than me. I'm not going to say how much because I need to figure out who he is. But
he already
figured it out. But I will say this much about a great guy, and in a lot of areas, he would even acknowledge that I was the more mature person. I had to make most of the decisions. I was the one, you know, sort of pulling the leash, pulling him forward in so many other parts of his life. And he pulled me forward in other parts. I can't say that he didn't, but I would definitely say that more often than not, you know, I was wearing the pants. And I think that that's not a bad thing, but I think maturity and age don't always have anything to do with one another.
Now, can I just want to get ratchet for a second since we're here.
Let's get ratchet.
Everybody take a sip, because I'm about to go there.
Ready.
Okay. So, can you really compare the sex with younger guys versus the sex with older guys?
Yes.
It's a different experience. It
depends on
Thank you, Malcolm. I've had, Lord Jesus, I can't believe I'm even saying it.
You say Lord and Jesus.
Okay, here we go. Right, so I'm gonna say this real diplomatic. It's diplomatic.
Please be diplomatic.
This is a PG.
It is a PG show.
It shows the morning wood.
That's a whole other show. Okay, so 17. I had a situation with an extremely older. I'm talking about older, like 50s, late 50s.
Let me drink.
Okay. So when I had that experience, this was when I was in my 20s, I was just like, well, hold up. My perception of what I thought, you know, it was over at a certain age, not at all.
He put it down.
Woo! Yeah.
Experience.
And so I found even with the younger generation, they're caught up in what they think they are doing. They're caught up in the science of it.
Right.
Not in the actual moment.
Right. Like all these different weird positions.
Right, or
what do you do?
The one thing I realized I've experienced, and this has just been going on for years now, I don't know what this is all about. I get disclaimers.
What do you mean? Give me an example.
Yes.
Well, you know, if I don't last this long, you know, or, you know, is this okay? Why are we having this kind of discussion?
People get insecure about sex.
At the last moment, I don't need you insecure at that moment.
And at that moment,
it's a deal breaker. I'm up.
I need you at the plate.
Let's just be friends. It's a wrap. Because if you gotta give me a dissertation at that moment,
it's not gonna be good.
I'm already out of it. Just don't give me a dissertation and a disclaimer, and I have to write, you know, sign here, this affidavit.
You won't talk about
right.
But I do think there's something that has to be said for sex between two men, because here's the thing: when we got so many things around us that tell us what sex should be. You've got porn, you've got your friends, you've got your own experiences, and I think that in a lot of cases people come into sex, even independent of their age, and they don't know what the other person's expectations are of what sex should be. If they believe that, oh, sex should be an hour, 2 hours, because, you know, everyone else talks about having this long kind of sex, you know,
imaginary 3 hour long sex. sex. What are you doing for 3 hours?
I'm sorry.
And they think that's insufficient because they can't do it.
Come on, Richie.
What?
Come
on, Richie. What for 3 hours?
Richie.
You're talking about penetration for 3 hours.
Ooh.
Listen to me. What I'm telling you is, I don't know about 3 hours.
Okay.
What I do know is that there are variations in terms of the sexual experience.
Okay.
Everybody has
The sexual experience.
Everybody has or wants
Exactly.
something different.
That's
Exactly.
And whatever you want, you need to express it.
That's
Okay.
Some people want it for 10 minutes, and that's it. Some people want it for an hour, and that's their thing.
Right.
Some people can last an hour, and that's their thing.
Okay.
Some people can only last 5 minutes,
Right.
And that's
and that's their thing.
But I'm thinking if we 3 hours, something is wrong.
Why would you think that?
Cialis.com.
Something is wrong. If we
Viagra.com.
for 3 hours and we have not reached our maximum height.
well, maybe you reached it a couple times.
That's different. But that's different because we can do 30 minutes, take a break.
But sometimes it's no break.
For 3 hours.
So I have never, let me get this question. I have never experienced
I've never
So I'm
experienced
not gonna say I've spent 3 hours, but what I will say,
I got other stuff I need to do.
Who wants to do that?
what I will tell you is,
You brought it up, so
this is what I'm telling you.
Come with it.
Everybody has a different experience and what they may want or what actually may be the case for them.
Right.
So, you know, you have to sort of, it's an agreement between you and your partner. That's what I'm saying.
The point I was making was that everyone has their own expectations. So when people give these disclaimers, I think it's because they don't know what your expectations are. So when they give it to them, when someone gives me a disclaimer, what I just say is, oh, well, you know, well, don't even worry about that. Or, oh, that is important. Oh, that's not important. It's an opportunity for you to share. It may be awkward as hell,
Don't tell me
but it's an
no.
opportunity to share.
It's just awkward. Please just don't.
right.
I don't think right then is the time to talk about it.
Well, not while, you know,
But that's
time
when
goes on.
But that's when it always happens. It always
I'm just saying, it didn't happen before,
Yeah.
but afterwards it's kind of late.
When's the right
No,
time?
because you might
Well before, and that can be. It doesn't have to be like real graphic. It can be in general. What are your likes, your dislikes? You know, things that your pet peeve, things of that nature.
But do we do that with people that we really like, or do we just kind of let them find their way? Because if I really like you,
that's a whole different number.
I'll give you an opportunity to find your way around all of it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, because if you like that person like that, there's gonna. It may not be great the first go around.
Exactly. Or the second one.
Or the second or the third. But that's the dynamic. That's when you realize, hold on, there's a difference between love and
teach
sex.
you some things.
Right, and it's okay. And then that's the beauty of it because you are in love with the.
But I think you hit the nail on the head when you said there's a difference between love and sex.
Big, huge difference.
There's a huge difference.
Yeah.
And I think that but you get to that point.
Right.
You may not even start at that point because
Right.
it may start off as just sex.
It's just sex.
Right.
But then it gets to a point where it is love. And so a lot of times you get into a relationship or you get into these situations, it starts out one way, and as you go along, it's something totally different.
True.
Absolutely.
Sexually.
Absolutely.
True.
Yeah.
So switching gears just a little bit.
Because you're nervous to talk about sex, but go ahead.
I'm not nervous to talk about sex. I just know that there are certain things I will and I will not discuss.
Hey, Mom.
That's just me. Hey, Mom. So, the question on the table
On the bar.
the bar is cheating. Anybody here been cheated on before?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. Did you know that you were being cheated on?
Yes.
How did you find that?
Feeling.
I had an idea, just based on the activities that person was doing. You know, when someone's pattern change, it's usually an indicator of them having other interests.
Like what kind of patterns?
Any pattern, especially if you live.
Describe to our viewers because listen, the people who are watching us, they want to know.
Like communication patterns, I would say is probably the easiest one because someone cannot communicate with you and somebody else at the same time, especially if it's talk on the phone. Like if I'm used to having your undivided attention on the phone, you know, and now next thing I know you're like, clearly you're texting or reading something in the background and you're not working this happening consistently, or night after night we would normally speak, but now you're tired at really weird early hours.
Weird early, preach.
You know,
preach.
And that kind of stands out, or you're maybe more guarded about your phone. Why is it when you go to the bathroom to take a piss, you have to take your cell phone?
Right, or when the phone was originally unlocked and now you have a password locked on.
Or it's a different password.
Right. That's when I said, okay, boop, boop, I got it. That's fine, I'm taking notes.
And you did you have more?
I mean, just like, I personally feel like if you have certain things going on in your phone, they lead to distractions in your relationship. Like, you shouldn't have naked pictures of yourself in your phone that I don't have.
Speaking of these photos, here's how I found out about something funny going on. So with, you know, some of the phones, when you take a photo, these are obviously not with the newer ones, but some of the older phones, and they send you the photo, it'll have a file name attached, and that file name is a collection of numbers, which is the date and time that the photo was taken. Let's go with this. Y'all ride with me?
I'm riding with you.
All right.
This
So
right here.
he would send me photos, and I would think, wow. At first I was, it looks like it's daylight in the room, and you just sent me this at night. Did you take this earlier and then wait to send it to me?
Right.
And then once he sends me a photo, and I look at it, and it is a completely different day and time. So I just asked, oh, this is so wonderful. I didn't know you were going to wear those underwear today, because I happen to have some underwear on the photos, one of those cute ones. And then he's like, oh yeah, I just wanted to wear them today, you know, they're my favorite, blah, blah, blah. So he lied at that point. And I'm like, why is the date and time different?
He's sending you library pictures.
Yes, he is. Then why do you have a library of photos if we've been dating for all this time? Because I just met you, you know? And so to me, that was a huge issue. And when I brought it up, I was told I was wrong, but technology doesn't lie.
You are not wrong, and it's not innocent, because the simple fact that if there are pictures in my phone of me naked, I am sending them to someone, and you can bet your life on it. There's no reason for me to have pictures of myself naked in my phone. I can look at myself in the mirror.
That's right.
You know? So it's just like, don't lie or don't create these situations in your relationship. If you want to be with that person, do that. But don't have a phone full of naked pictures of yourself and say that you're not sending them to people. That's not true.
It's obvious.
That's
Not true. And don't say you're just looking at your progress of yourself in the gym.
Lies.
And you're naked. Don't do that.
Because for real, you don't need to be naked to do that.
You don't. You don't. So stop the fakeage, as Jennifer would say.
So, like, if we could tell people right now a couple of things to look out for, and based on your experiences, what can we tell people who are watching us? What can we tell them to look out for? Cheaters.
To identify a cheater?
Changes in demeanor. Changes in demeanor. Changes in attitude towards you. If things that you used to say used to get a laugh and now they're getting nothing but crickets, might be a good time. When you now know your conversations used to make this person laugh, you get crickets.
Changes in availability. Now they're not available to do any of the things that you like to do anymore.
Or they're doing it with someone else.
Or a lot of new friends coming around. I think that when people have a constant influx of new friends.
Right.
Now, when I was in college and dating, you know, I noticed in college we always are meeting new people. That's just the environment.
Right.
But as a man over the age of 30, I tend to date guys a little older than me. Why is it you have a constant influx of new friends? Every time I look up, I'm hearing new friends' names. That doesn't work. But also, I think that one thing you have to look out for is look at what you did in the past when you cheated. Because all of us, I don't want to say all of us, but many of us have cheated before. Let's just put it out there.
Right.
So what were some of the things that changed in your behavior? What were some of the things that you did? And do you notice that in another person? We gotta look at ourselves because sometimes we're the best, you know, example.
Right.
I said mine.
I got a whole lot more. We don't have a whole lot of time. I know you when you cheat.
So let me ask you guys a question. Do you think that a couple can recover from a cheating episode?
Yes.
I used to be against it. I used to say that I cannot recover. And I don't want to put this out there because I don't want someone who's sitting at home admiring me, thinking they're going to date me, they're going to cheat on me, and I'm going to forgive them. But it just, it's conditional. It depends on the all the circumstances around the situation.
Right.
I want to say that it is a deal breaker for me, but it is not And I hate the fact that it is not, because it should be. Because for me, what changes is my trust for you. My love doesn't change for you, but my trust changes.
Right.
And if I can't trust you, I'm going to drive you crazy, and I'm going to drive myself crazy.
Right. I think you have to figure out what's the reason, like you said, what's the reason behind the cheating? Because if the person wasn't happy, if there was neglect, was it resentment, something drove you to do what you did.
Right.
Right.
And so, rather than point the blame, you did this to me. Hold up. Look in the mirror.
Right.
What part did you play in this?
Right.
Cheating is a 3-party scenario. It's not just between 2 people.
Right.
There's 3 people involved.
Think
about it.
I don't know about that for
issues.
I was innocent.
Some people do have the issues independent of you. Some people have the issues independent of you. Yeah, maybe you're in a relationship and we're arguing all the time, and you go seek emotional comfort in somebody else, and that leads to sexual comfort. Okay, well maybe then you can take responsibility.
Right.
But there are some people who their daddy cheated, their mama cheated. They grew up in these environments where fidelity was not necessarily a priority.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Or they say, I come home to you, I just got my dick sucked. You know what I mean? They define it different than you. I'm sorry. You know, but they define it different than you. And so I think that I think that it is conditional in a lot of cases. People don't want to admit it, but let's be real. You've invested time into someone.
You can't abandon the business just because something go wrong.
Right, and then it's like when you figure out, okay, well, this 20 minutes, this hour worth the 2 to 3 to 4 years that you put in and invest in. You take stock in. Take stock in what it is. But we get caught as males in our ego and our pride and our bravado, and we sticking our chest up. Oh, well, I got it because they with me. Hold up.
Right.
You're human just like everybody else.
I was in a situation where I knew I had it locked down, the key buried and everything, and I was told, whenever you're not with him, I am with him. And I sat there just as boldly as I knew how, and I said, that is impossible because I live here. Wow. I didn't think about lunch breaks. I didn't think about times when I probably could have been asleep. There is a way to do everything that you want to do.
Nor did you think about emotional cheating.
It wasn't even emotional. I'm not even
That's the word.
that much credit.
The emotional is the word. The emotional cheating is by far the worst. I can deal with a lot of stuff, but the emotional one, that's when it's like, okay, you know what? When you're saying you are emotionally unavailable to me, what you're telling me now, there's no more room in my life for you. And that's okay. I had to learn, I had to swallow this pill, and it was a hard pill to swallow. And it was a detriment to my whole mental state. I went through so much hell because of it. Because I was really thrown off. Because I invited somebody into my house. In my house. Let me get this right. My house.
All right,
and this person befriended me. And then this was all stirring.
Right.
And I'm sitting here like, oh really? But you know what? The one thing I can say about karma is a beautiful way of redemption.
Karma definitely is.
And I can laugh at a lot of things now because I'm on the other side. And I realize the 80-20 rule.
Absolutely.
And I realize I will never be anybody's twin.
I do think there's something to be said for being able to be honest with yourself about is monogamy right for you or the person that you're with? Because the reality is that, you know, I think a lot of us go through our lives labeling he's a cheater, he's a this, he's a that. No, the reality is that he does not have the same appreciation for the type of monogamy that you prefer. And so rather than judging him for who he is, how about you all having a relationship where you can be open about how you determine monogamy. But if I meet you, for instance, so many of us make this mistake. You meet someone, and within the series of the first dates, you have already told them, I will kick your behind out of the house. I will never take you back. And you've created an environment where he will never tell you the truth. I'm not saying lie, but I am saying that unless you are going to be open to people telling you the truth about how they view monogamy now, how they viewed it in the past, then you're not going to get the truth of how they're going to conduct it with you. And if someone happens to tell you, well, you know, I mean, I don't really see it as that big of a deal. Listen.
Trust.
Because if that's not something that's okay for you, then you need to back away from it.
Right.
You know, but I just think that so many of us are hung up on trying to believe that everyone views monogamy the same way. And that's just simply not the truth. And someone's not a bad person because they don't do it the same as you.
And be honest that you don't view it the same way.
Right.
Don't tell me what you think I want to hear.
Right. And I made that mistake. I made that mistake of being appeasing and accommodating. And then I came to realization, you know what, that was settling. Because I settled my morals and my core value of who I am for the sake of this relationship. If I was honest with myself, reality is we probably never would have been together.
Right. Wow.
That's the reality.
That's a lot to think about.
It is.
Piffany.com.
So we talked about, you know, the idea of cheating, and Malcolm, you brought up a really, really good point, is does everybody share the same idea of monogamy? But what about open relationships? You know, can they work? Because at one point in time I was like, oh yeah, people should have open relationships because then you can just, you know, do whatever you want to do. But then, you know, you get into a relationship and I'm like, I don't want to share you with nobody. You know, so, you know, it's kind of like, I've never been able to personally do the open relationship thing myself because I know how I am with a person. I want them all to myself.
Right.
You know, the moment you cheat on me, I'm going ballistic.
Right.
Now later on, I might, you know, we may have a conversation about it, and I might be at a different point. But I can tell you, realistically speaking, when you cheat on me, I'm going to go ballistic. You should know that, because that's going to be my initial reaction.
Well, they've been proven to work, right? They've been proven. You got whole polygamous cultures where it works. I mean, monogamy is something that's popular in our culture. It's not a standard all around the world, even within the black gay world, since I think that that's most of the viewers, I would say that's fair. I would say so. Within the black gay world, a lot of us do have an appreciation for traditional monogamy, but we also have to recognize that people do. I know a specific couple where they consider themselves to be monogamous, however, they have sex with other couples on occasion. But they say, we're monogamous, we do this together, so they just do it as, I think he called it an alternative form of monogamy. You know what I mean?
The one thing I've learned with that, people can set their own rules and own definitions of what open is. The problem is when people figure out, okay, this is what our definition is. If the person, if either one person beat them at their own game, that's when the problem comes.
Because you can be open with somebody that's
because mind you, if you set the ground rules, the ground rules are just what they are. So, but you didn't disclose. There was a point exhibit 2-1 that you didn't disclose. So now you mad, because you didn't discuss this, and now you feeling some kind of way. That's where you need to be transparent. You need to say everything. If this is what you really gonna do, you need to make sure you're okay with it.
Because you can't be upset at the fact that
you can't be upset.
We had sex together, the couple group, but then on Wednesday night you went home and I needed a fix and I went back over there.
Why you gonna be mad?
It's still open.
I think people's desires evolve, and I think that I believe monogamy. I prefer it because I'm like y'all. I just can't handle the idea of somebody being with somebody else. But I also, you have to accept that what someone wants sexually when they first meet you, that can evolve through time. And if you're not open to that evolution, then I do think that you set yourself up to be lied to. I think that at the core, your relationship has to be based on transparency. Will you be transparent or when your needs change? So that we can figure out how to work through that together.
Yeah, I was in a situation or in a relationship where the ex told me, you know, everything you need to know is on a need-to-know basis. Okay. So you got that, right? So mind you, I'm trying to grab that. Okay. So, but mind you, they're saying everything's an open book. But you want to tell me when it's convenient for you.
Why not that here?
Okay, but hold on. So I stayed. I said, okay, well, this is the rule. I'm gonna do it too. When I did, all hell broke loose. All hell broke loose because I was placed on this pedestal that I couldn't do what you did or do because I'm this creation that you created in your mind.
Right.
I never gave you any of this. But this is, you created a person that I didn't even present to you.
Right.
So now you made it.
And that, you know, I think that speaks back to everything that we had talked about today with transparency. In relationships and dating, it goes back to that. It seems like that's been that common discussion.
Transparency.
It has been transparency. And when you don't have that, honestly, relationships fail.
They do.
As much as we like to think that certain things we want to keep private, we do.
Right.
But at the core of these successful relationships that I think that we all want to have, transparency seems to be the biggest.
It's the core.
The biggest thing.
I think we should just go down the line and get final thoughts.
I mean, for me personally, you know, what I hope that it was something really cool that you said when we were emailing each other to, you know, talk about these ideas. You said, let's change some lives together. So to me, that's what I was hoping to, you know, kind of gain from this episode. And for, I think personally, you know, in doing this, my own life is changing because of this type of discussions.
Right.
So I know if it's happening for me here, just sitting here talking to them, I'm hoping that it's happening for, you know, whoever's watching.
Right.
I think for me, I've realized with this whole discussion that I've had some breakthroughs while we were even talking. I mean, and I'm having a real talk with you guys. Right. I mean, I had to realize that, you know what, I'm okay with being who I am.
Right.
I may not be the one for you. And you know what, and that's all right. You may not be the one for me. But you know what, my worth and my self-worth is more important than the sake of me being in a relationship just to be in one. So I realized, look, don't settle. Know what you want and be very clear about what you want. And when you ask God for what you want, be specific.
Very true.
Be specific. Don't just ask, Lord, I just want somebody in my life.
No.
I promise you, he'll throw somebody in there. Somebody. That's the point. Somebody.
Right.
So be specific with what you want and your desires of your heart. That's all.
I would say my final thought would be that independent of you're in a relationship, if you are preparing to be in a relationship or you just got out of a relationship and you're dating for the first time and however long, listen to your feelings. Rather than feeling you call God or you just call your intuition, whatever, your gut, whatever it may be, listen to it. If someone is making you uncomfortable, don't make a quick decision, but start to look into why do they make you uncomfortable. If you like somebody, then look into why do you like them, so that if it doesn't work with them, you at least know how to look for that same quality with someone else who may offer other things that can work too. But at the core, listen to your feelings. It's not about what your friends think, what your mama thinks, what anybody else thinks. It's about what you feel, because at the end of the day, your relationship with this person is going to be based, and your relationship with yourself, honestly, is going to be based on the feelings that you hold. And you can't have a healthy relationship with somebody if you do not have healthy feelings about them and how they make you feel.
That's good stuff. And just to sum it all up, my feeling is just, you know, as we're in this process of finding love and beginning to love new people in our lives, just make sure that you are, as much time as you are spending on the relationship with that person, you spend the same amount of time on the relationship with yourself. Because a lot of us, we have a lot of issues and a lot of baggage that we bring to new situations, and we try to figure out why the situation is not working. It's because you're holding that person hostage to something that they had nothing to do with.
Right.
So just be open to loving people. That needs to. Just love people beyond their issues, and just, you know, drop your bags at the door. You know, live a little lighter, live a little freer. You know. So
that's good.
It's the More Show. We love you. We love each other. Thank you so much for watching. We love you. Peace.
Hardcore, 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 Ain't been acting right, don't do nothing right. Cheated, yeah, he cheated, now he wants you back, right? You kept your back tight, held him down right. So now it's time to switch. Just give me a minute, so I can get in it. I'm playing to win it. I'm good, so I get it. I'll take what you're giving. I know what it isn't. Let me be a villain. I'm hard, so I kill it.
I'm saying forever. If you got that long, then
time, want more than an hour. Don't go on and on, 'cause I've got the power.
Cause he thinks he can. Stop wasting time, man. Come check this real man. Let me come and take you off his hand. Just give me a minute, so I can get in it. And I'm playing to win it. When I'm good, so I get it. I'll take what you're giving. I know what it isn't. Let me be a villain. I'm hard, so I'm killing it.
Yeah, I'm saying forever. If you got that long, then we'll stay together. See, I want the time, want more than an hour. Don't go on and on, 'cause I've got the power.
See, I'm not just talking a minute, I'm saying forever. And if you got that long, then we'll stay together. We can go all night, baby. It's hardcore.
I'm not talking a minute, I'm saying forever. If you've got that long, then we'll stay together. See, I want the time, want more than an hour. Don't go on and on, 'cause I've got the power.
Thanks for watching The Morning Wood Show. Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
What's up now? Got wood, got wood, got wood, got wood, got wood, got wood. Wake up in the morning and I'm feeling like a Mac. I can hit a home run 'cause it's like a ball bat. Hard as a rock, but my body still sleep. Rub it out till it's done. When I'm done, I'm all geek. Feel it fresh, feel it under my thumb. Feel it in the morning, feel it when I come out of the bed, rolling with the sunshine. Liquid that is, can't wait till next time. Monday morning, start with a bang. Explosions in my hand, then I let it all hang. Loose, let it drop, then I grab my clothes. I'm jumping off the bed, feeling fresh, let's go. Pick it in, let it swim. Throw the towel in, feeling good about the wood. Good wood is not a sin. All I need is light.